Today we are going to start the batik process by taking our image that we drew last week of our Basquiat monsters, and we're going to transfer them onto this muslin cloth by tracing it. And since we used our black Sharpie, the lines really shine through this cloth because it's super thin. After we trace, we're just going to use glue to go over all of our lines. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put the cloth over top of your drawing so everything fits. There shouldn't be any edges sticking out. Then you're going to start tracing with your pencil. I'm going to speed this part up so we can get to work faster. Before you start gluing, make sure you trace all of your lines. So you could take it off and then just make sure that all your lines are traced. Now it is time to start gluing. So with our glue, we're gonna open it up and we're gonna trace all our lines. Now you need to not squeeze the glue super hard because then it's gonna be a big blobby mess. If you squeeze it super hard, you get a huge blob. If you don't squeeze it enough, you get the skinniest, tiniest little line in the world. So you try to practice with your lines first before you start on your paper. Now we're going to trace our lines with the glue. And I would start at the top and work your way down, because if you start at the bottom, you might lean into your glue and that might make a mess too. So I'm gonna start up here with my letters, and I'm picking my glue up every time I want to stop the glue. After each letter, I pick it up, and that makes the glue less stringy. So after each line, I just pick my glue up and then restart on the next line. I'm going to speed this up, but you take your time when you are doing this with the glue because it can easily make a huge mess, and we have a lot of time to make these look awesome. Now that the glue has finally dried, we are ready for our paint. So I'm gonna lay this down flat. I've got some paint brushes of different sizes that I'm gonna use, some water. I got a paint palette. I use this wax paint palette, but you can use like a magazine piece of paper. That works really good. And then I have a bunch of colors of these little acrylic paint. And I like these because they're watered down and they work best with the batik. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick some colors and I'm gonna put them on my palette. When you're squeezing them out on your palette, make sure you're not using a whole bunch because you could always add more to your paint palette. But if you put a whole puddle in there, then it'd be a waste of paint. So I'm gonna start with these. You could always add more colors. I usually pick a more of a limited color palette, but Basquiat kind of paints with a lot of bright colors when he does his work. So that's why I put a little bit of each color on there. And when you are painting, you can paint right over those glue lines. You don't have to go right around it and be like super careful not to get it on the glue because we are going to be peeling that glue off later. So I'm just going to start with some yellow. And this is, again, it's pretty watered down, and you can just start painting right where you want. There's no right way how to paint. I'm putting some blotches of color, of the same color around his face, and then I'm gonna go back in and make more details. Remember to rinse your brush between colors unless you are mixing right on the muslin. So I'm blending right on the muslin to get more of a painterly look. Remember, when you're painting, the glue is gonna come off. We're gonna peel that glue off, and all of those lines are gonna be this color, the color of that muslin cloth. But here I'm filling in the face with different colors first. And I'm not being too careful about going like outside the glue lines because I want it more of that messy, abstract look. But if you want yours to be more clean, you can make sure you're staying in those glue lines. All right, so here I painted the eyes white, and then the glue was on the eyeballs. So I think that isn't gonna stand out that much. So with my tiny brush, I'm gonna put black right around that glue mark so it will stand out more. And you can do this with different things that you just want to pop a little bit more. Like if I wanna go around the mouth a little, or make different lines. Here I did with the eyelashes. You can make more lines with black or with different colors. So I'm gonna super speed this so you guys can get to work, but you can see my process as I paint. For the background, I'm gonna really water down that paint and kind of make a wash for the background, just so it's lighter than my monster and the monster really stands out. I also want to use colors that I didn't use on my face, so I used more yellows and reds and greens. So I'm gonna use some like pinks and purples on the background and really put some water into that acrylic paint to make it more of a wash. Here again, I sped up the video really super fast, but you can see that I was putting different blotches of color on the background and really watering it down so that face still really stands out. Now that you're done painting the entire thing, we have to let this dry again, and then we are going to wash this under hot water and start peeling the glue off. The last step of this is you're gonna put your painting in a bucket of really hot water. We're gonna let this soak for about 10 minutes, and that will start making the glue dissolve. Once the 10 minutes is up, we're gonna take it out and we're gonna run it under hot water and just start peeling that glue off. After you rubbed off all of the glue, then you can get it out of the water and see the big reveal. Whoa! Now I'm just gonna let this dry, and this is the final result.